And welcome back to Moms Making Money. I am so excited that you are here with me today because today we are going to talk about something that is so important for anybody who is considering training in newborn care or sleep consulting, but it is something that also a lot of times gets overlooked. And I'm talking about program accreditation. Now, I know that that might sound a little bit boring, but hear me out. Accreditation or approval from professional organizations means a lot more than many people might think. And if you are choosing a training program, this is something you should absolutely be paying attention to. We just went through this entire process ourselves. Our newborn care specialist program is now officially approved by the Newborn Care Specialist Association, or NCSA. And while that sentence sounds really simple, the reality of what it took to get there is anything but simple. Getting this approval was truly one of the most exciting moments of my career so far because we worked so incredibly hard to get there. I think a lot of people assume that accreditation is just checking a few boxes, maybe paying a small fee, and you're done. But let me tell you, it is actually a very in depth and thorough process. For us, it took 3 full rounds of submitting. And in between those rounds, we completely reworked major parts of our program before we gained approval. And the reason for that is that the NCSA takes this process incredibly seriously. They do not just want a program that looks nice on paper. They want to ensure that every single student who goes through a program that they have approved walks away with the exact knowledge, skills, and confidence that they need to succeed in this career. That means that when you see that little NCSA approved stamp, it's not just for marketing. It is a sign that the program has been reviewed by industry experts, challenged, improved, and held to the highest standards. Programs that don't go through that process, they might still be great, but they haven't been tested in the same way. And they haven't been pushed to meet standards that are often far above what most people would think to include on their own. One of the biggest surprises for me in this entire process was just how much depth was expected. The second time we went through the approval process, we had a lot of great information. It was solid, it was well researched, well presented, but it just didn't go deep enough. So we went back to the drawing board. We took everything that we had and we dug deeper. We asked what truly makes a great newborn care specialist? What knowledge and skills would we want someone to have if they were walking into our own home to care for our baby? What mistakes do we see newborn care specialists making that they could learn from before they even start? That led us to a couple of extra sections that weren't even on the approval requirements. Why? Because we didn't just want our students to check the boxes. We want them to walk away fully prepared for the realities of the work that they will be doing. But here's the thing, as the program grew, so did the amount of information. It was amazing, but it was a lot. And we realized that our students needed a way to be able to come back and refresh their memory quickly without rewatching hours of training. So we created quick reference guides for every single section. These are concise, easy to scan summaries of the key points. And that way, if a student is on a job and needs a quick refresher on, say, premature infant feeding techniques or safe sleep best practices, they can find that answer in seconds. That one addition has been a game changer for our students, and honestly, it was born out of the approval process, pushing us to think beyond good enough. We also then took this same idea and implemented it with our sleep consultant certification program because we realized that is the same thing that's happening over there. We have things that you're learning so much and you're retaining so much information, but then you might have certain things that you just don't remember from day to day because it's just so much that you're taking in. And so we created those same type of quick reference guides for our sleep consultant program. And so truly, this process enabled us to rethink the way that we are teaching and enabled us to take it a step further and go even beyond what anybody would be expecting whenever they come into a program like. So if you are choosing between two trainings, one accredited and one not, that is a factor that you should really consider. So let's talk about what actually happens behind the scenes with this accreditation process. So first, yes, there is a fee for us to even start the approval process because it takes a lot of time from the organization to actually go through and review the programs that are applying. But that is honestly the smallest part of the whole process. The real investment is in making sure that your program meets every requirement. And sometimes those requirements mean adding entirely new sections, updating content, or going deeper into topics than you originally planned. For us, that meant bringing in additional experts, people who live and breathe certain areas of newborn care. And to make sure that our content didn't just cover a topic, but covered it thoroughly and in a way that meets professional best practices. We also had to ensure that we were covering every topic in enough detail for their board to say, yes, this is exactly what we want new specialists to know. One of the coolest moments of this entire process was when the NCSA board came back and said, we love this section so much, we're going to make it a required topic for all foundational courses moving forward. That was huge for us because it meant not only did we meet their standards, but we actually helped raise the bar for the entire industry. So, in a way, the work that we didn't so, in a way, the work that we put in didn't just benefit our students, it's going to impact every future newborn care specialist who trains under NCSA approved programs. And it's not just our newborn care specialist program. For our sleep consultant certification, we are approved by the International Association of Professional Sleep Consultants and the International Association for Complementary Therapists. These organizations also set very high standards because working with families, especially in those vulnerable early months, requires deep knowledge, compassion, and professionalism. So, again, whenever you see those approvals, you know that the training has been vetted, challenged, and refined to meet those standards. Another thing that I think it's really important to think about and to understand is that accreditation isn't just about our credibility as a school, it's about protecting you as a student. When you graduate from an approved program, you are stepping into the world with a credential that carries real weight. Families, agencies, and other professionals recognize the name of the organization that approved your training. That builds instant trust. Oh my gosh. That builds instant trust. It can also open doors. Some agencies only work with NCSA certified newborn care specialists. Without going through an approved Without going through an approved foundational course like ours, you simply won't meet that requirement. And on a personal level, it gives you confidence. You can stand in front of a new client and know that your training wasn't something that was just thrown together. It was vetted, challenged, improved, and endorsed by the best in the field. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. The process is long, it is super intense, and it's definitely not inexpensive. But that is exactly why it matters. If you are investing in your education, you want to know that the program you chose has already gone through a process where someone else said, we've checked this from top to bottom, and it is worth your time and money. It is a safeguard for you as a student, and it's also a mark of credibility when you go out into the world and say, I'm certified, and the program I'm certified through has been approved by this organization. So, if you are looking at training programs, don't just compare price or how pretty the website is. Ask the question, who has reviewed and approved this program? If the answer is no one, that's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it does mean that you need to look closer. How do they ensure quality? Who has reviewed their content? What standards are they using? At the end of the day, accreditation matters because it protects you as a student. It ensures you're getting the most complete, high quality education possible, and it gives you a credential that carries real weight in the industry that you are working in. And for us at the Cradle Coach Academy, it's about more than just a stamp of approval. It's about knowing that we've built something that truly prepares you to do the work that you're passionate about and do it very well. So, whether you choose us or another program, I encourage you to dig into this before enrolling. You deserve to know that your investment is going towards something that will actually set you up for success. Oh, and before I sign off, quick heads up. If you've been thinking about becoming a newborn care specialist or adding additional newborn care skills to your existing offers, this is the time. Our NCSA approved training is currently $349, but on August 25th, the price is going up to $499 to reflect all of the time, expertise, and upgrades that went into getting this program to where it is today. So if you've been on the fence, this is your chance to lock in your spot and your savings before the price increases. You can find the link in the show notes. So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep doing the amazing work that you do for families.